Hi, welcome to my cooking class. We're in the season of entertaining, and I thought a really great suggestion for you this season might be to make your own candied pecans. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, how are you gonna make them? Yes, you could make them from scratch, sugar, brown sugar, seasoning, all that stuff. But why go to all that fuss when Epicure can make it super easy? So the product that I'm going to be using today is, oops, can barely see that, our candied yams. Now, of course, this clearly isn't yam. We're first going to get our liquid ingredients organized. So we're gonna take an egg, and for those of you who are wondering, well, how do you crack an egg? Some of you, even I, at one time used to crack it against the side of the bowl. But the thing is when you crack it against the side of the bowl, there's a chance that you could get sharp little chunks of egg in your mix. So instead, just give it a good wrap on a counter. You're going to take a little bowl, and what we want to do is we want to split the white from the yolk. And it's simply a matter of just tossing it one side to the other. We'll set that aside. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to whisk this. I like doing it first because I've got it in a little container. We're gonna try to froth this up a bit. Break it right up as best we can. And then we're gonna add a few more liquid ingredients to this to get some extra flavor in our pecans for the season. Now the reason we're putting egg whites is it's gonna be our binder. Eggs is a good binder. Okay, so we'll grab some fresh orange juice, and using our 4-in-1 spoon, I'm wanting to put about a tablespoon of orange juice. And then to sweeten up the deal, if you have a little bit of vanilla, if you don't, it's not a big deal, but flipping the spoon over, oops, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla. Using our 4-cup prep bowl, I'm just going to pour this in. I want to add some brown sugar in there because that's going to sweeten up the deal, but now I need to add my spice. So we're going to take a whole package, just dump this in our 4-cup bowl, and the flavor that you're going to get in here, just so you can imagine, because we don't have smell-o-vision or taste-o-vision right now, is of course it's got sugars, it's got orange peel, which is why I put the orange in there. It's just an extra enhancement. It's got cinnamon, sea salt, nutmeg, vanilla extract powder. And seriously, if you didn't have your orange juice handy, you didn't have the extra vanilla, this package will do it all for you. So using a spatula of sorts, we're just going to give this a good mix. Oh, delicious. I can smell the nutmeg and the cinnamon already. Take our pecans. These are halved, of course, and we're going to make sure that these are nice and coated all over. We'll make these in advance. The nice thing about this is you can store it in an airtight container for a whole month. So make it at the beginning of the season and you've got it for the whole time period that you're going to be enjoying. Take a baking sheet. We're gonna line this, try to keep it even, don't pile them up. And I've got the oven going at 300 degrees. We're just going to slowly heat this in the oven for about a half an hour. And in that half hour, every 15 minutes, we'll just set the timer. We're gonna go back in there and we're going to toss it just to make sure that it's crystallizing, caramelizing, and getting really nice. So spread it evenly out on your sheet. Let's bake it in the oven. So while this is cooking in the oven, why don't I give you a little bit of fun food facts about candied nuts. Where did this come from? Well, it goes back to the 17th century, and we're going to give this to the France population because there was a fellow there, a diplomat, and I believe his name was Placin. And he was a diplomat, and he realized that if he mixed caramel and almond together, it made this beautiful little candy, and he would put them in bunches and gift them to his prospective lovers. I'm sure he did really, really well because, gosh, caramel and nuts, yum. So anyway, that's where it originally started. Now it eventually made its way across the ocean, and when it got to the New Orleans area, or Louisiana, of course, almonds weren't a big commodity there. Instead, we had pecans. Now, the colored women of the area, very entrepreneurial, give them credit. Those ladies put sugar and pecans together and created what we know today as pralines. And they were actually called praliners. And these entrepreneurial ladies used to be street vendors, and selling these candied pecans on the street helped them offset some of the hardships by keeping them out of poverty by being their own little street vendors. So I think it's really neat how our history and how things were created come into being. This is such a popular thing down in New Orleans. In fact, it's considered, pralines are the official candy of New Orleans. So I hope you enjoyed that fun food fact. Okay, we're halfway through. Now, as you can see, they're cooking up nicely. So we've got a couple more minutes left in the oven. So I'm just gonna tidy up the kitchen, and we're gonna come back with what our final result looks like. We're gonna have to let it cool and break it up, but I'm gonna show you a fun little presentation with this as well. Pralines are done, 30 minutes. You'll know whether they're done enough. I find 30 minutes works pretty good. But if you find that when you touch them, they're quite sticky yet, you're gonna need to give them a little bit more time. But you do not want to overcook them and burn them, okay? Nuts are expensive. So these are done well. What we need to do is make sure you have a cooling rack, and we are going to let them just cool down. We're gonna break them up before we bag them. So if you happen to have little cello bags, great. I actually have some cones here, and what I would do, this is just for presentation, so if you wanted to gift them to somebody, say someone's invited you to their home as a host, you could put your candied pecans in a cello bag like this, maybe get a little bit of ribbon on the top. And I'm going to tell you a really great idea to do for hosting is go to your thrift store or Habitat Restore. Anyway, you're going to just look for individual glasses. I find that if I go to like Sally Ann or the thrift store, quite often I will find single glasses. What I'm looking for when you go hunting is look for martini glasses. Quite often people will throw them in recycling for someone else because they only have one left. Perfect. So what you can do is we can prop, we use this. I love using martini glasses on a charcuterie board because it, of course, you've got your meats and your cheeses down below, but this sort of adds some height to it. Another great idea for presentation is New Year's. So another thing that I quite often do is I recycle things. So I had a New Year's party and some guests came and brought some hats. And when they left, they didn't take these with them. I tucked them aside. Look at this fun idea. We're gonna use this as a base. We're gonna stick our candied pecans in here with the martini glass. And we are going to make sure that this doesn't flip over. So tissue paper is going to be your best friend. Shove some tissue paper in the bottom. This is going to protect it a little bit. I like putting cello cut up like leftover pieces. Don't throw them away. I find this makes it look sparkly and fun. So it's great for New Year's. If you can find any little sticks like this, or your charcuterie boards, nice little extra for your host. You may want to put in the recipe and of course another package of your candied yams in here so that they know how to, after they love it, if they want to make more, they can make more. Find Again, at a thrift store, you might be able to find some decorations, or perhaps you've decided to change your decorations on your tree. We can maybe just tuck something like that in so it's a nice little gift. And then we're simply going to wrap this up. As beautiful as it may look, it's going to taste even better. And thanks for watching my cooking class. I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope you'll give our candied yams a switch over. Think out of the package, make some pralines, make some almonds with it. Your choice, just grab some nuts, make sure they're unsalted if possible. You don't need that extra sodium, and enjoy the season. Thanks everyone, bye for now.